Welcome back to the dojo, everybody. This is TruTalk with TruMotion, where a couple of guys talk about how to make the world a better place and hopefully make your day a little bit better in the process. My name is Mark, followed by my co-host Stephen.
Hello.
Let's get things kicked off. Well, let's do our recap for the week. It's been kind of an interesting week for everybody all around, I would dare say. My wife ended up having some knee surgery yesterday. She had a grade 3 tear in her meniscus. Apparently, she's had it for like 2 years. And she finally got that repaired yesterday. Was in surgery for about 20 minutes and took her about 40 minutes to wake up. So, I mean, it was kind of an odd scenario. Usually you're in surgery longer than you're asleep, but not for this case. So now I've got to go home and take care of a cripple. And I'm just kidding. She's doing great. She's already walking around, moving. Very, very limited movement, but she's a rock star. She's doing fantastic. So, but how's your week been, Stephen?
My week's been pretty interesting all around as well. I've been, trying to sell puppy dogs, trying to be that. Yeah, trying to get some dogs to good homes.
Hopefully, we got one sold for you already for my daughter Maya. She's like in the Fat Boy Slim.
Yeah,
There's
Big
Slim.
Slim Jim is what I
Jim.
call him. It's great because I love them and I hate to see them leave, but I really want to see them leave and I want them to go to good homes.
Yeah, that's such a. I could never breed dogs.
It's such an emotional roller coaster.
I bet I would be like, oh, because all of a sudden they'll be like they're on your nerves. You're like, God, I can't get rid of you turds, and then all of a sudden they're like sweet and cuddly, and you're like, oh, I'm never gonna get rid of you turds. Mm-hmm. So, man.
Yep. So besides that, I've been here, been training, been teaching. Made some good impacts on people this week.
That's awesome. I like that. I like that phrase, making good impacts on people.
Yeah.
I think we need to start incorporating that phrase more often. It's like, how can we make an impact on someone today?
Yeah, I think that's why
that.
we do it.
I'm actually going to write that down. Make an impact.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, okay. So, it's been, sorry, I'm writing as I'm talking.
It's all good.
Make an impact today.
I got to mess around with some more high-tech stuff, building a new commercial for the merch store, and
nice.
A new one. We'll probably hear it on the show.
Nice.
And then obviously working with the provosts to get their ad out going.
That's right. Yeah, the provosts. They were a fun interview, and God, I learned a lot just from the little bit of time that they were here. Mm-hmm. And then I started watching some more videos of his. Yeah. And I was like, holy crap, I'm learning even more of his stuff.
Yeah, I got into it a lot.
Did you watch some of his videos?
I did.
Yeah. It was funny because I was watching the one where he went to the Beauty and the Beast restaurant.
Yep.
And like, if you see a prop and then a frame behind it, it was an actual movie-used prop.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, he was telling that. And then he was showing it. Mm-hmm. So he's all like, hey, look, see that? There's Mrs. Potts, and there's a frame behind it. That means that Mrs. Potts was used in the live-action Beauty and the Beast.
That's incredible.
And I was like, holy crap, I had no idea. So, yeah, if you want to learn some cool stuff about Disney and parks and all that, yeah, make sure you check out Provost Park Pass. I mean, those guys are fantastic. So, but moving on, here's a word from our sponsor.
For the best tips and tricks, no need to ask. Just tune in now to Provost Park Pass. Discover theme parks from far and wide. Secrets of Disneyland, we're your guide. Don't miss out, subscribe today. For all the hidden gems and tips, hooray! Provost Park Pass, the place to be. For travel tips and magic, come and see. Just type Park Pass and hit subscribe. Join the fun and feel the vibe. Provost Park Pass, your guide, your friend. For theme park magic that never ends.
Thank you, sponsor.
Thank you, sponsor.
All right. This week, our top 5 is top 5 movie franchises. So this one was hard for me.
Hard for you.
I have just about as many honorable mentions as top 5.
Great.
So, but let's.
What defines a franchise, in your opinion?
Okay, franchises like same characters, same sort of storyline
through the whole thing. Multiple movies.
Multiple movies.
Okay.
Now, Shanna asked me. She goes, "Would Marvel be considered a franchise?" Yes and no. Like
Yes
Marvel
and
in
no.
general, no. But like you could be like, I like the Captain America movie franchise.
Okay.
Because those are the same characters, multiple storylines. You know what I mean?
I get that.
So, who do you got for your top 5?
Well, my top 5 is going to be Pirates of the Caribbean, number 1.
Okay.
Then I'm going to go with Indiana Jones, number 2. Star Wars, number 3.
Okay.
And then number 4 is going to be Tremors.
Oh, Tremors.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. God, we're going old
Number
school with
5
that
is the Mythica series.
one. Mythica.
Yeah. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's like Lord of the Rings, but it was a completely, from what my research was, it was a completely crowd-funded 5-movie saga of basically D&D. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Mythica.
It's super cool. The movies, like, yeah, they're B quality movies, but
yeah.
like it's a good story. It's got some plots, like the animation, the special effects are super cheesy but funny. But it's fun. And then honorable mentions, obviously Lord of the Rings. And then I failed to come up with more, but let's see what you got.
Okay. So like I said, I probably could have had like.
You've got a bunch.
But my honorable mentions are Shrek, Pirates, Indiana Jones, the Fast.
These
and
are
the
your
Furious.
honorable mentions.
These are my honorable mentions.
Oh, Fast and Furious.
Transform. Now, the reason why, I tell this to Shanna all the time. The reason why Fast and Furious probably did not make my top 5.
Why?
Is let's take the first movie. Okay. They're basically thugs and gangsters ripping off semi trucks.
Yep.
Now they're effectively international spies funded by the government.
Yeah.
And you're like, how the hell did we get from like ripping off semis to world-saving events? I don't understand. So that's why it's like it's too hard for my brain. I'll watch the movies and I love them; they're fun to watch. But I'm like, come on, we've gone from ripping off semis for DVD players and TVs to basically being like Black Ops CIA spies.
Wow.
So, and probably another honorable mention would be like Toy Story. Oh shoot, the Chronicles of Riddick.
Oh wow.
Or the Riddick trilogy. Yep. Those are cool.
See, I don't see those as franchises, but they are.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
they're the same story.
Same story. Same
multiple movies.
Several same characters.
Yep.
Introduction of new characters.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
You know,
Keep going.
see what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you're probably thinking like, oh,
I'm
God,
like,
now there's
so many that
there's this, there's that, like the Lethal Weapon franchise,
Yeah.
Die Hard.
Die Hard.
You know, like
That
those are all like I said, you could be like major league top 20 franchises.
I just came with the first 5 that I'm like,
exactly. So, okay, now in my top 5 in no particular order, John Wick. Transformers
has made your top 5.
Yeah, Star Wars.
Okay.
Harry Potter.
And
Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
Yeah. So those are
so many.
Yeah, and when you really look at it in terms of like franchises, you're like, holy crap, there's a lot more than I thought there was going to be. Like the Rush Hour.
Yeah.
Rush Hour with Jackie Chan. That's a movie franchise. There's 3 of them. Same characters.
Yep.
Hitman.
Yep.
Hitman's a movie franchise. RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Yep.
Wow.
What else? God, there's so
Born
many.
Identity.
The Bourne series.
Yeah.
Yep.
So many.
Mission Impossible. Oh man. There's a lot. And again, we're not even like scratching the surface.
No, there's
on,
so many more.
So many more movie franchises. So I'd really like to know what everybody else's favorite movie franchises are.
Which ones have we missed?
Because there are far too many for us to keep track of. and I just can't do it. But those are like my top like 15-ish. But yeah, those are the ones that, it's like you always seem to like. Oh, and the Mummy franchise.
The Mummy franchise.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That just popped into my head. Despicable Me.
Despicable Me. Would James Bond be considered a franchise?
Yes, James Bond would be a franchise.
Oh.
That's a great one.
That's such a good one.
That one you can even break up into like individual active mini franchises. Like you have your James Connery, Connery franchise, your Timothy Dalton.
Yep.
Your
let's see if you know all the Bonds.
There's the Roger Moore.
Yep, Roger
there's obviously Daniel Craig.
Obviously, yeah.
There's the Pierce Brosnan.
Yep.
There's there's one.
There's a few more.
There's a few more. But yeah, those are the ones that come to my mind. But yeah, absolutely. James Bond would totally be a movie franchise. Yeah, man, there's so many that now I'm really thinking, it's like, what have I missed?
It's like our one-hit wonders.
Yeah. All of a sudden, the next thing you know, you start talking, you're like, oh, God, there's this one.
There's so many.
And there's this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda.
How could we forget?
That's
a martial arts one.
Yep, the Karate Kid.
Karate Kid franchise.
The Karate Kid franchise. Oh man, there's man, there's a lot.
There's so many.
And the next thing you're like, God, I forgot that had like 2 or 3 movies behind it. Sometimes I think we forget them because the more movies they make, the worse the movies get.
The less of an impact they have. Yeah.
So, like, I would even consider Kong.
Kong?
Yeah, Kong to be a movie franchise.
It has the same recurring character?
Yeah. Well, because if you think it modernly, you have like Skull Island, Kong Skull Island, then you got the Kong versus Godzilla's.
That's right.
Godzilla. Movie franchise. So...
Would all the Alien movies be considered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alien is a movie franchise.
Reoccurring character there.
Yep. Oh, shoot. Yeah, and obviously, like we didn't really talk about like the Marvel characters, but each Marvel character has its own movie franchise.
They're movie franchises inside.
Mad Max.
Mad Max.
Mad Max has, I'm talking like Mel Gibson Mad Max. These got their own movie franchises. The Land of the Dead, or the George R. Romero zombie movies.
Okay.
I think it first started with Night of the Living Dead, and then there's like Land of the Dead. So he has like 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 zombie movies.
Okay.
That have the same kind of theme behind it.
Now we're really like getting.
Oh, Resident Evil.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil is a franchise for sure. Yeah. Oh man, what else?
Hellboy.
Yeah, Hellboy
now that
is
we're
a
into
franchise.
This area,
yeah. Oh man, now we can tap into the movie or the horror movie.
Yep.
Your Friday the 13th.
Yep. The Saw.
Saws. Michael Myers. The Halloween. Yeah, all of those.
Mm-hmm.
Man, shooting the. What are they? No, not Poltergeist. Oh, the Insidious.
Scary movie.
Yeah.
Purge.
The Purge has multiple movies.
Yep.
So, I mean, see, look, we could just go on and on and on.
We got a show to run.
Yeah, yeah. So, moving on.
Please give us your top 5.
Tell us what your top 5 is, because obviously we've given you like 50.
Yep.
Probably.
Yep.
But moving on to the next segment, it's the Ask a Sensei. So we got some pretty interesting questions. They're kind of deep thinkers. These are I actually personally thought of these ones because I thought these ones would be interesting to talk about. I thought of these while Shannon was actually in surgery. So,
I see.
First question is, how do you handle disappointment?
Disappointment, how to be handled.
Okay, disappointment could be in any form of like, you didn't get the belt rank, or you didn't get the job promotion, or you didn't get the girl to say yes for a date, or vice versa, or just whatever. You've come into a situation where it didn't happen the way you thought it would.
Yeah.
So,
Honestly, I struggle with this.
yeah.
I think I've become better at handling disappointment through talking about why I'm disappointed and not trying to solve it by myself.
Valid point.
This, like, I've had a problem with, like, oh, I'm disappointed. I've got something. I'm upset at the results, but I don't want to, like, whine and complain about it. Because it's like, well, I'm a man. I can't do those things.
Yeah, men aren't supposed to whine and complain.
Men
and
can't
cry.
whine and complain.
They
What
don't
is
have
this?
problems.
What is this?
Yeah.
But I definitely have started to explain disappointment or explain, like, why the result that I got and why I didn't want it. And getting that second opinion really helps me to understand why I got the result that I got and how to, for next time, get a different result. So I definitely think that how I handle disappointment is by spreading it out amongst people, sharing my disappointment, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And saying, and not like trying to get people to suffer with you,
Yeah.
but explain, like, hey, this is what happened, because usually there are other shareholders involved and other people involved. I'm like, hey, I'm disappointed at this.
Yeah.
So you might have had something involved, you might have not had something to do with it, but you're there, or someone's there to listen and provide that outside perspective. Because disappointment, unfortunately, it feels like the end of the world sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh. It's
Very much so. I mean, it feels like there's nothing past it.
Yep.
Where it's like, oh, God,
but then as
life
soon
is
as
over.
as soon as you process it, you're still around.
Yeah, no, I agree, because it's one of those things, like, for me, when I get disappointed with something, I usually got to give myself at least 12 to 24 hours, just to, one, let myself be disappointed, run through those emotions, not denying them, not trying to run from them, or not trying to escape them, just allowing it to run its course, you know. Because a lot of times when we deal with emotions we don't like to handle with, we try to bury them.
That's right.
And it's like, oh, God, I hate this. I just don't want to deal with it. And we just try to, like, sweep it under the rug. And I've learned to, okay, if I'm disappointed, allow myself to be disappointed. Okay? Don't try to fix anything yet. Don't try to run through any major decisions. Just allow myself to be disappointed for a while. Okay? Like I said, 12 to 24 hours max. Okay, if I'm disappointed after 24 hours, then I'm just being a bitch, for lack of a better term, and just, like, quit being a baby and, like, deal with it. So after that disappointment phase, you have to kind of look at it from a critical eye, which sometimes is hard because it hurts. And you have to ask yourself, why did I get the results that I did? And most of the time, it's something you did.
That's right.
And we don't like to admit that we did something wrong. Like, oh, man, I didn't get the numbers that I wanted to this month. Oh, it was someone else's fault.
Someone else's fault.
No, it's your fault. You know, just on the flip side, just like when you get the numbers that you want, it's your fault as well.
Yep.
So you have to look at it and be like, what did I do? And then what should I have done? Okay. And if it's, you know, if it's something in your control, then you think, how can I change it? If it's something not within your control, learning how to let it go. Like, if you ask a girl out and she says no, okay, that's subjective. And, like, who knows why they said no? At that point, you'd be like, well, I was nice. I was polite. I was a gentleman. They still said no. Well, okay, well, then I just got to move on. There's nothing I could have done in that situation to change the outcome.
Right.
Okay. They just didn't want to go out on a date with me. Yeah. Okay. And then you could be like, well, that's their loss. And, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. But at that point, you're just like, okay, it wasn't meant to be. Okay. Then you can almost think of it like, oh, man, I may have dodged a bullet on that one. Okay. Or it could have just been like, well, that stinks. All right. On to the next one. But if it's something you're striving for, Like you have a goal and you don't meet your goal and you're disappointed, then you just have to, again, allow yourself that disappointment phase and then take a look back and be like, okay, was there anything I could have done differently?
Mm-hmm.
Or was there anything that I could have done more?
Yep.
Or was there anything I could have done better?
Yep.
And you have to look at it from that critical eye to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So then when you're faced with that situation again, then it'll be like, okay, last time I did this and that didn't work. So I need to switch it up and do this to see if that worked. Or I did this and it worked really well. So let's double down on it to see if I get double the results. And you just have to kind of take a look at it from that critical eye and do one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Because if you try to change everything, then you don't know what worked and what didn't work.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like I heard the best example I heard from that is, imagine you took your car to a mechanic.
Okay.
And your car's broken.
Okay, it's broken.
It's not starting. You have no idea why it's not starting.
Interesting.
Okay. Well, a good mechanic would be like, okay, well, let's try to turn the key.
Trace the ignition wires.
Yeah, they start from one point and they work their way through the situation. They don't go, oh, it's not starting. Let's just replace everything. They replace your engine. They replace your starter.
Throw
they
it
replace
out.
Your
They're
clutch.
going to do it.
They replace absolutely everything,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden your car works. Well, it works, but why does it work?
Right.
What was broken?
Yeah.
But if they're like, okay, it's not turning over, it might be a battery. Let's change the battery. Boom, change the battery, try it again. Same scenario. It's not working. Yeah. Okay, so then it's not the battery. There must be not a spark getting blah, blah, blah. And they do one thing at a time to deduct the reasoning to where it's like, that's the problem.
Yeah. That's
Okay. So then when you have goals and tasks that you're trying to get done, each month you should try to change one thing differently, and then track the results. Did that work? Did that not work? Okay. Because then if it worked, then you're like, okay, good. Insert to permanent. If it didn't work, you could be like, okay, why didn't it work? And if it's in your control, you can fix it. If it's not in your control, then you just let it go. Okay, so for me, disappointment, honestly, it's hard for me to get disappointed, like with anything except stuff I can control.
okay. Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like I don't get disappointed over trips or
you're not the person that says, I'm really disappointed in you.
Yeah, or like behavior or situations. It's like, okay, it's outside of my control. And it's like, I usually get disappointed when I could have done something better.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, crap. You know, dang it. I missed an opportunity to improve either myself or someone else.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, yeah, I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, man, I'm really disappointed in your behavior. Well, why am I disappointed in their behavior?
What did you expect?
Yeah. It's like I expect
What can you control of their behavior?
Exactly. So it's like, okay, your behavior was bad today. Let's figure out why. Okay. Did you eat anything?
Oh, good start.
Oh, no,
Step
you
one.
haven't eaten anything.
Turn the key.
Okay, well, why don't you go grab a snack real fast?
Yeah.
Oh, you're thirsty. Okay, why don't you go grab a drink? You're tired. You haven't had a nap or whatever. Okay, well, there's not much we can do about that right now, but hey, next time you come to class, make sure you get plenty of rest, okay? Or like, yeah, you talk to them and you'll be able to figure out why they were behaving the way they were. So that's like if you're teaching. Okay, it's funny because when I talk about stuff like that, excuse me, I always think of this, I don't even know what you would call him. I guess he's a business personality. His name's David Penna. Very, very wealthy, very smart, but very harsh and to the point and like blunt. Very blunt. So you know what I'm talking about, right? He uses this tactic to see whether or not he should hire people. He goes, let's say you're walking down the street with your wife or your girl, and some guy walks up to you and spits in your wife's face. He goes, if anybody tells me anything besides punching him in the face, I don't hire them. And I was like, interesting. Because it's like, you should not reason with people that disrespect other people like that.
That's right.
And yet all of a sudden I'm sitting here saying, it's like, well, we find out why their behavior is the way they are when it comes to like teaching. It's like, well, we're teaching right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Like if I was out on the street and someone just walked up and spit on my face, I'm not going to figure out if they've had dinner, if they're tired.
Hey,
if
you've had that, buddy?
Yeah, if they've had water.
I'm about to put you to sleep.
Exactly. It's like, no, I'm going to knock your teeth in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yet when we come to class and little kids are like, acting kind of the same. Now, granted, most kids don't spit in your face.
They don't spit at me.
But they do try to push the envelope and push your buttons.
They do try. They figure out where the fence is.
Yep. I'm not going to be like knocking them unconscious.
Yeah.
It'd be like, okay, that's when you have to dig in and figure out why they're behaving the way they are.
Yep. Today the fence is electrified. Yep.
Yeah. So it's like I always laugh when I answer questions like that. It's like you figure out why they're acting the way they are.
You become a psychologist of sorts.
Yeah. Which honestly, doing this type of career in business, you really are one. Mm-hmm. You're just not licensed. But,
yeah.
You know, technicalities.
But people say thank you, do more.
Yeah, exactly. People, which I mean, remember from Doc's episode? Yeah. I mean, shoot, that dude literally saved people's lives, and he had one thank you letter. You know, and then he opens up a dojo, and within 3 months, he's got 24.
Yep.
It's wild. So, but let us know what you guys do when you handle disappointment.
It's an important one.
Do you work out? Do you cry? Do you just bury it? How do you handle it? So, next question. This one's interesting because I'll tell you what I did when I was a student, and let's see how you were, and then what students should do. It's how much should students practice?
Whoa.
Okay? Now, when we say practice, we mean their martial arts. Okay.
Well, there's the right answer, and then there's the answer that everyone does.
Yeah, the right answer is it depends, but the real answer is none. Nobody practices much at home. Which, I mean,
well,
it happens. There are
people practice a lot in the 24 hours before they test.
Yes.
If they want the next belt.
That's absolutely true. I mean, people practice for two reasons: for tournaments and tests. Mm-hmm. Okay. But other than that, they don't really practice because they're not on like performance mode.
Right.
Me, when I was coming up through the ranks, I was probably an annoying student.
You were an annoying student, huh?
Probably, because I would show up to the dojo before the instructor even would, to like wait for the dojo to open and then go work out. And then like, even though the instructor probably just wanted some alone time and to like vacuum the dojo, I'm in there like running laps around the dojo, hitting the heavy bag, like working out for about 30 to 45 minutes, and then I would leave. And it's like I would do that like 3 or 4 times a week, and you know it's crazy because that was just the norm to me. That was just the norm. So, and like I said, I was probably annoying as all get out to the instructor and all that, but that was me. Then as I got higher up in rank, my practice like that really slowed down.
Really?
Like I didn't do that very, very much. That was like white through maybe purple.
Okay, so you had like the new karate energy here.
Yeah, I very much had the new karate energy. But then by purple, they had me start teaching.
Okay.
Okay. So I was coming in to help out with lessons. So my
sensei
form,
thought we got to channel this guy. He's here all the time. So
yeah,
put him to work.
My practice became teaching.
Yep.
Okay. And a lot of people don't understand that. It's like when you teach something, you're really practicing it.
Yeah.
Okay. So then my practice became teaching. So that's kind of how I got my quote unquote practice in. Now, in my opinion, students should practice no less than 5 minutes a day.
Okay.
If they're going to practice, it's less than 5 minutes a day. And here's my reasoning why. one, the little amount of time that you can carve out, the easier it is to actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because if I were to tell you, be like, hey, you need to practice.
You're gonna spend an hour outside of class.
30 minutes 4 times a week. You're going to be like, oh, God, I don't have an extra 2 hours that I can spend.
Which, is that true? Maybe not. You probably can find 2 hours, but we don't do that.
Exactly. So, but if I was like, hey, practice 5 minutes a day, they could be like, okay, that's reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Even though 5 minutes a day, I mean, it's still only about 35 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if you did 35 hours a week over a month, that's 180 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So over a month span, you've practiced 3 hours. Okay, that's like an entire extra week of group classes.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
It's an amazing amount of time.
That is huge. And now let's say you do that for like a year. Okay. Your practice has gone from 0 to 3 hours a month. So 36 hours.
You have an extra 36 hours of practice
you've
over
actually-
someone who has not done that.
Exactly.
That's a whole day and a half.
A day and a half extra over somebody that hasn't done it because you're doing it 5 minutes a day. Okay. Plus, you can stay focused for 5 minutes a day.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Because the worst thing that you can have happen is like, hey, practice this like for 30 minutes. And then the first 10 minutes or first 5 minutes, they're really focused and they understand what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Then the last 20 minutes, they're just running through the motions to get done with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The biggest thing as a newer teacher is realizing that attention span and channeling it. Because I would think that, let's do your form all class. No, that doesn't work.
No, when you're 3 years old, you'll be like, oh, I've done it once. That's enough.
Yep.
No, but I'm glad you think so. I always tell them, be like, okay, if you can do it without my help, we won't do it again. And if they do, then I'll be like, all right, time to move on.
Honor your word. Yep.
Okay. So for me, it's like, one, you get that extra time.
Mm-hmm.
And two, you won't start developing bad habits.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one for me. So
I learned my answer is similar. I think bite-sized practices either once a day or every other day or multiple times a day are good, but just focus on one thing at a time. Like back to our first question about disappointment, how do we fix the problem? We focus on one thing at a time. So if practicing becomes difficult, maybe you feel like, I don't remember the last part of my form, or I struggle with this thing. Well, maybe start halfway through and focus on that, or start working on basics. I like my mind sort of has been shifted to be like, forms only or DMs only. That's what I practice. And yeah, that's what we test on. Mm-hmm. But being able to practice or have confidence that you can execute like Kempo A or something simple that isn't necessarily what we teach, or you can execute like a karate chop to the neck. I think that's valid practice too.
yeah, absolutely. And just like with any great coach or athlete, is you'll perform how you practice too.
That's right.
So if you practice just kind of running through the motions and lazy, when push comes to shove, it's going to be running through the motions and lazy.
Yeah.
So
That was a huge learning opportunity for me in tournaments, because it's like how you practice your form is not how you do it during tournament.
Yep.
Or how it ends up how they do it during tournament, but it shouldn't be.
No, I agree.
You should have your tournament version of the form, and then you should have a practice version where you break things down and slow it down and work on making the tournament version or the test version better.
Yeah, because I mean, there's a difference between performing and learning.
Yeah.
when you're learning the form or when you're learning a technique, it's slow, it's bite size, it's bit by bit, and it's repetition, repetition, repetition. When you're performing and executing, it's full speed, full power, everything you got. That's it. Okay. But yeah, no, it's interesting what people, how people view practice and all that other jazz. And I always think of people like Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
Okay, Kobe Bryant would work out 2 more times a day than the average athlete or average basketball player.
Right. Right.
So if practice was at noon, he'd work out from 4 to 8. Go stretch, go home, relax, eat, whatever, then go to noon practice. Noon practice would be like from 12 to 3. Go home, stretch, eat, whatever, then come back from like 9 to 10. Go home, practice, stretch, and this and that. And then that would be his day. And they're like, why do you do that? And they're like, well, over the course of a week, I've practiced 4 more days than the average person. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm I'm 4 times better than they
You
are.
have 4 times as much confidence in what you want to do. Yep.
Yeah, for reals. So I equate it to that with like the 5 minutes.
I agree.
Like 5 minutes is very doable, very easy. But if you do that over a course of a year, you've just added an extra day and a half onto your training. Which, who really wouldn't want that?
Yeah, the hours, the 36 hours.
I even tell people to do. Coach Scott did them with us. So if you remember Coach Scott on the show, he would call, back in the day, he would call them commercial drills. You know, because when us, Neanderthals would watch TV, we'd have
streaming.
We didn't have streaming. We'd have things called commercials to pay the networks to keep the lights on.
Wow.
I know. So he would call them commercial drills. So if you're watching your show and the commercials come on, you would practice
You do the drill.
this certain type of movement. And it was like the jab step and then shot fake, jab step, shot fake. But it was like full speed, full intensity, but you weren't moving. Then you do that for commercials, your show comes back on, you stop, you watch your show. You do that over the course of 1 or 2 shows, well, all your practice is done. Because you weren't just sitting down watching commercials.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like the same thing with like people here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Commercial DMs,
Yeah, he would run through as many DMs as he could during his commercials as he could. Now it's like, oh, well, I just stream YouTube. It's like, okay, well, this is what you do. In between episodes of YouTube, you have to pause.
Yep.
Then you have to get up and do it. So you can still do it. It just takes a little bit of some willpower. So, but that's how I think practice should go. I don't believe in like 2-3 hour practices a day. Because at that point, your body is roasted and toasted, and you're just like, I just want to get out of here.
Yeah.
You're not really focused on what you're doing. So, all right, last question. It's what keeps people motivated to stick with something? Now, where I'm using it in terms of like obviously martial arts, but we've all known people that have all of a sudden they start a job, they quit the job within a week, and then we know people that have started the job when it first started, and they're still there.
They're still there. Yep.
So,
There's.
what do you got?
Well, I think a goal is like fuel for motivation, and discipline will keep the motivation will get you started. Discipline will keep you going, but
Yeah.
a goal is where you want to go. So if you're motivated to do something, it's why. And a lot of the turnover that we see is because, well, either they don't have a goal or they're too young to understand what a goal is, which, can be taught. But I think with what keeps people motivated is it providing a need? Is it providing a solution to a problem? And is there a goal? So do I have a problem with my confidence? And that's why I'm here, so I can build confidence. And then my goal is to be more confident. And, you know, as soon as someone feels like they reached that goal, then they either go somewhere else, or they're done, or they find a new goal. You know, my goal was to get black belt. I got that goal. We've had this talk, and then I'm like, well, what do I need?
Yeah.
I need a new goal.
What's now?
Now it's helping other people. Now it's second degree. Now it's learning unique things, becoming an instructor that has stuff he can share.
You know, some substance.
Substance, yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely. When it comes to people quitting here, it's a number of different factors. One, which is very rarely the case, but they're just not happy with us. You always have those disgruntled people that no matter what you do, it's not good enough for them. You know, whether it's they don't like the way that you teach, they don't like the classes, they don't like their material, whatever. But there's always going to be people in situations that they don't like what you're doing. And you just can't do anything about that.
Not that I can control about that.
No. But when it comes to like black belt, a lot of people quit right after black because they feel like black's the finish line.
Right. A lot of people see that as their goal, and
Yeah.
honestly, it's a good goal.
It's a great goal.
It's so good, but
Everybody should want to get their black belt.
yeah,
But once you get it, you have to realize that that's just the beginning.
yeah, that's
And I remember hearing that statement from a black belt, and I just always thought they were so full of crap.
like your BS.
Yeah, it's like, whatever, dude. You're just saying that because you
Whatever.
have your
Stop
black belt.
patronizing me.
And then I got my black belt, and I was all like, well, all right then. Like, I really don't know anything.
Whoa.
Holy cow. So, I don't think motivation should be included in whether or not people stick with something or not.
Really?
Yes, because kind of like how you alluded to it, and you know, Andy Frisell on his podcast alludes to it. Motivation is like that spark that can ignite a fire.
Yeah.
But if you rely on motivation to keep going with something, you're not always going to start a fire.
Right. You don't get warm from sparks.
Exactly. You have to be disciplined, and you have to keep moving towards your goal. So, yeah, it's one of those things you can't keep people motivated.
Right.
Nor should you keep them motivated. You should keep them happy, and you should keep them learning. Okay, as long as people are happy and they're learning, they'll stick around as long as they can.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's once they feel like they don't have anything else to quote unquote learn, that's when you need to watch out for them. Like, okay, dang, this person's on their way out. That sucks. Okay, so I try not to use motivation at all. Now, every now and then you'll watch a video and you're like, oh, it's time to go take on the world.
Right,
and then you get in your car and you're like, why am I in my car?
Where am I going?
Oh, crap, I forgot what I was supposed to do. Then you go back in, you see the commercial or video, and you're like, oh, yeah, go out, slay the world. Then you get to your car and you're like, what am I doing again?
Yep. Motivation's fleeting like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I was talking to John yesterday, and he's going back to school, so we're going to miss him. But he came up, and we were just talking after class, and his wife's like, well, why aren't you a yellow belt yet? And he's like, well, I might never be a yellow belt, but I'm learning stuff every day at group class.
Should have told me because you missed your test.
And also because he missed his test, but at the same time, he's motivated to come to class.
He's motivated to learn.
He's motivated to learn, and because he's learning and he's happy, he's like, I'm coming back here when I get the chance.
Yeah.
And we're gonna miss him while he's gone, but he's going to school. He's doing stuff. He's bettering himself, and when he's ready, he'll come back.
Now, it's interesting because John was a person that came in January of 24.
Yep.
Did an intro lesson, loved it, was like, absolutely, I want to do this. He's like, I would totally sign up today, but I can't do it with my schooling.
Yep.
can I come back in the springtime to enroll? And as an instructor, you're like,
That's a cop out.
yeah, all I'm hearing is like, I don't want to pay for
They're
it.
letting me down slowly
I
here.
don't want to pay for it. So I'm just like, oh, yeah, sure, whatever. Because, you give the couple of like sidestep questions and this and that. And they were pretty firm on like, hey, no, like I can't get started until springtime. Well, springtime shows up, and sure enough, guess who comes walking through the door? And I was all like, holy crap, you did come back.
Yeah.
Because most people don't do that.
No.
Like, you're one of them.
Yep.
You've done that. But most people, if they don't start right away,
Yeah, it's
they'll
that.
never start.
It's that reliance on motivation. I think it's like hype,
Yep.
and then that's gonna fizzle out, and then what's left? But
Yeah.
some people, I'm not patting my own back here, but some people make decisions, and then they plan those decisions, and then so when they come in, there's no motivation because the decision's already been made.
Yeah, you're good to go.
It's like I'm disciplined. I'm right here.
Yeah.
Again, not patting my own back.
No, it's very, very true. So it's like I try not to use motivation to get me excited about anything.
Now that I've sort of expressed that, I think I agree with your point a lot more. That like not being unmotivated, but not relying on motivation at all, is more of a consistent burn rather than the flash that you might get with hype and motivation.
Yeah. Now, every now and then it's okay to like do something to hype you up.
You got to be hyped up once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. But what we're talking about is a day-to-day, like, do you need to be motivated to get out of bed?
Wow. Yeah.
Now, most people will be like, yeah, I am. It's called your job.
Interesting.
Sure, maybe.
Interesting.
I don't think your job motivates you to do much except get a paycheck,
Your
but
job- yeah,
you're disciplined enough to get your paycheck.
that's right. That's important too.
So I try not to use it, but it does help every now and then.
It's great to feel motivated and hyped, but that's not a reliance to start something or
No.
whatnot. It's like that's something that you get as little boosts along the way. Like passing my first advanced test. That was so hard, but then I became motivated after that.
Yep.
Passing your tests is like a challenge, but then it motivates you to keep going because you're learning. You get a whole new chapter of the book unlocked, and you get to learn some new stuff.
Motivation should come after the event,
Yeah.
not before the
Yeah.
event.
Yeah. Before the event is anxiety. After the event is like hype.
So if you're using motivation before you're doing something, you need to ask yourself why you're still doing that.
Interesting. Okay. Interesting.
If you're using motivation after an event, you're in the right place.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you go to a tournament and you lost and you're like, oh, now I'm motivated.
It's like now I got a chip on my shoulder.
Yep. Versus, oh my God, I need to watch all these tournament videos to make sure I go in and do okay.
Yep.
No, that's a losing battle. So, but let us know what you guys think of these questions, the answers, whether you agree with them, disagree with them, have a different perspective. I always love seeing the different perspectives because I never want to be like single-minded. The second I feel like my opinion or my option is the only option is the day you need to start phasing me out of this thing. Because it's like,
I may have a professional opinion, but it's not the only opinion.
yeah, exactly. It's like, and I always tell people, I go, this is just my opinion. Like, you can take it or leave it. Sometimes they take it, sometimes they leave it. That's fine.
Right.
But hopefully it encourages something. Okay. So when it comes to like disappointment and practice and motivation, sometimes you can use the last two to help with the first one. Sometimes you can use the first one to help with the last two.
Yeah.
You don't want to rely on an event to help with another event.
Right.
You want the outcome of the event to help you want to get better.
That's right.
So I feel like motivation should come after the fact, not before the fact.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting hot take there.
No, but again, let us know what you guys think. And, maybe you're thinking the same thing. Maybe you're not. I really like to hear about the people that don't think the same thing. 'Cause if I wanted to read this, my original statement, I would just listen to it. I don't want to read it in the comments.
Right.
So, but all right, moving on to our final section of the show.
Ninjas in the house.
You check it, Dojo Vibes, got something to share. TRUMOTION merch shop, got that ninja flair. Shirts and hoodies, slick like Bruce Lee. Karate thread sharp like a kick to the knee. Custom names and colors like a lightsaber's glow. You're the Jedi, watch how your style gon' flow. Scan that code, jump in, it's time to score. With gear so fresh, you'll be wanting more. TRUMOTION merch where the fit's on point. Dressing up clean like $1 billion joint. TRUMOTION, safe stacks like Bruce. Get your swag right, man, no excuse. From the mat to the street, stepping like Jan. Gear so fly like your own stunt man. Personalize it like your own Stark Tech. Karate gear tight like a chop to the neck. You name your colors like a comic book villain. Step in the light while you're laid back chillin'. Scan the code, it's your time to rise. With TRUMOTION gear, you'll take the prize. TRUMOTION merch where the fit's on point. Dressing up clean like $1 billion joint. TRUMOTION, safe stacks like Bruce. Get your swag right, man, no excuse. Yeah, TRUMOTION's the wave, call it the new rave. Get your gear, step up, now time to behave. Scan that code, the deal's too sweet. Karate swag's here, time to bring the heat.
And before that, that was a word from our sponsor. So forgot to say that before we went for break.
Sponsor.
Thank you, sponsor. But it's our shout-outs. Who do you got as a shout-out for this week?
Shout out. Okay. Do we now have a hypothetical fight scene?
Oh, crap, we do.
Okay.
We're gonna
pick
pick
two movie franchises.
We're gonna pick them off the fly. Okay, so we're gonna pick
Luke Skywalker versus Harry Potter.
fantastic Luke Skywalker versus Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. Okay, that is a good one.
Yeah,
I forgot.
they're the same.
They're the exact same. Just one's got a wand and one's got a laser sword.
One's got the stick, and one has a bigger stick.
Yeah,
Glow stick.
if I'm in the realm of like the Star Wars era,
Okay.
that'd be tough because basically Harry is sort of a Jedi
Yep.
because he can use
got
magic, the magical force. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna go with Luke because of his age.
Because of his age.
And he's got some more experience.
He has more experience.
Yeah. I'm going with experience over youth on this one.
Okay.
So
Experience over youth.
yeah, and that goes across all three boards.
Okay.
If he's at Hogwarts,
Interesting.
if he I
don't know.
If he's in Hogwarts, I'm giving it to Harry.
Hogwarts is like the Dagobah of
Yeah.
Earth.
If I rephrase,
Yeah, Luke kind of lost in Dagobah.
if Luke goes to Hogwarts, he loses.
Okay.
Harry would totally
Sorry,
take him in Harry.
Sorry, not Dagobah. Cloud City.
Yeah.
Hogwarts is like the Cloud City. of
Yeah,
Earth.
Harry would totally dominate him at Hogwarts.
Okay.
Just because of all the unknowns.
Okay. Yeah, the
moving
ghosts,
stairs, the
moving pictures,
ghosts.
stuff.
Yeah, there's too many unknowns
Okay.
for Luke to like wrap his head around.
I see.
But and what age Luke are we talking about? Are we talking teenage?
Not
like
the
a New Hope?
Not
Luke?
the 7, 8, 9, but we're talking.
Okay.
We're talking original trilogy Luke.
Okay, so 3, 4, 5, a New 4, 5, 6, a New Hope.
Yep.
Okay, a New Hope Luke. I'll still take Luke. Not Hogwarts.
So Luke, you're saying Luke goes 2 out of the 3?
I'm saying Luke goes 2 out of the 3. So Luke loses at Hogwarts because Harry can just home field advantage like crazy at Hogwarts. Anytime anybody goes against Harry in Hogwarts, Harry's going to win.
I see that.
Okay. You put Harry and Luke on Tatooine.
Okay. So we're going Tatooine.
Tatooine. Not Tatooine. Tatooine. That's a Utah accent for you. No, you put Luke and Harry on Tatooine. I got Luke all day long.
Okay.
Because at that point, like there's not a whole lot of magical stuff like Harry can mess with. Now, granted, he's got his wand and all that, but Luke's got a lightsaber and the Force.
Ah, I see.
So,
Okay.
and then you put him in a ring,
Cage match.
cage match. No Force, no wands, no laser swords.
Yep.
Luke's gonna kick his ass.
Okay.
He's too small. Harry's too small, and he's got glasses.
Oh, unbelievable.
All of a sudden, Luke breaks his glasses. He can't see no more. Like,
You wouldn't hit a man with glasses.
Yeah, he'd hit him, grab his glasses, and then hit him with it.
Yeah.
Just like Wreck-It Ralph.
Yep. All right. So you're taking Luke to.
I'm taking Luke two out of the
three.
Yeah, 2 out of 3 for Luke.
Honestly, here's the thing. I think each would win in their home fields.
Yeah,
I think each would win in their home fields, and then cage match. Harry's quick and wiry. Luke's more of a farm boy. So I don't know. Cage match might be a coin flip. Like, yes,
interesting.
I'm thinking because, well, if you think about it, Luke has a diet of bantha milk, right? The blue milks and stuff. Harry, malnourished, lives under stairs. You know.
Yeah.
So it might go Luke's favor. So actually, putting the nutrition into this, being a professional here, thinking about like all the different things as to why. I agree. Luke will take it 2 out of the 3.
I think Luke's just too big and strong and fully nourished. He's not malnourished like Harry.
Yes.
Yeah, Sorcerer's Stone Harry. Man,
Sorcerer's Stone Harry versus New Hope Luke. Luke's got it.
Luke's gonna kill him all the way.
Yeah.
So, which I mean, it's good or bad, whatever. But yeah, if you've ever noticed or if you've ever watched that little comedy bit, the guy explains how Harry Potter and Luke's and Star Wars are the same movie franchise. And it's wild because he describes it to a T, and you're like, oh my God, that is true. Luke and Harry are the same person. So, but who you got for your fight scene and who you got winning that? I know some people are going to be like, Harry Potter's a lot tougher than he thinks. Yeah, whatever. That's fine. I love Harry Potter. I love the Harry Potter franchise. I just think Luke's better. That's all.
I like the Star Wars franchise a little bit more.
Yeah. But okay, moving on to our shout outs. Who do you got for the shout out for the week?
Oh, tough call. I'm going to shout out Paige this week.
Paige
was awesome yesterday. Started cleaning things, and I'm just like, oh crap, I got to start cleaning things too.
Yeah, she started changing all the
when
air
Paige
fresheners.
is here, she always wants to be doing something.
She's always on the move.
And that's really good. That's a good habit to have.
She is a rock star. I agree. I'm gonna shout out you and Paige for helping watch the studio while I was taking care of Shanna yesterday, and things went smooth. And yeah, it's nice knowing that the dojo's left in good hands. To where if you can't make it in, it's like everything will still run okay.
It'll be okay.
Everything will run okay.
It'll be fine.
So, but that's it's the show for the week. You got any final thoughts for the audience before we call it a day?
Not really.
Yeah, just kind of think about how you can make an impact on somebody today.
Okay.
I really like that phrase, and I'm going to start using it daily. And everything I do, how can I make an impact on somebody? So figure out how you can make an impact on somebody today.
Tomorrow, during sparring, we're going to take it to the literal sense.
Yeah, exactly. And then when you're sparring somebody, you can hit them and be
making a bunch of impacts on you today.
I made a bunch of impacts on you today. You better practice 5 minutes a day. So, yeah, I like that phrase. I'm going to start implementing that in my daily routine. But maybe we'll even use that as our sign-off. Be like, hey, everybody, go make an impact today.
Ooh.
So that's the new sign-off. So thank you for listening. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Leave your comments down below. If you would like to access the merch store and you're on YouTube, you'll have to scroll to the comments first because YouTube won't let us put the link in the description.
We don't want to verify our identities.
Apparently, we don't want to verify our identities. Like, screw them. They don't need to know that we're real. I'm real. I know
They can
it.
just listen to the show. They'll figure out who
exactly. So if you're on YouTube and you want to gain access to the merch store, just make sure you
comment in the link.
Yeah, there'll be a comment or a link down in the comments below. So great to have everybody join us again today. We'll make sure to have a fun weekend and fun week, and we'll plan on kicking it with you next time and go make an impact on somebody today.
Yep, make an impact. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye everyone.